be time to mingle. All your needs will be met, but please turn your cell phone off. Turn it off. Turn your cell phone off. Turn it off. Turn your cell phone off. Turn it off. Turn your cell phone off.
Thank you for that. Good morning, West Valley Center.
Good morning.
We love you guys. So it's just awesome just to be here with you guys. And Clyde's back after his, practical joke. Yeah, practical joke with the pajamas and all that. So, Oh, we're family. We are welcome to the family. So, with that in mind, I'm hoping you're ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
We'd like to start the service with a song called This Is the Day. If you'd please rise and join with us and bring up the spirit, we greatly appreciate it. Little rocky. I don't think you want that one, though, do you? No, probably not. Sorry. Gotcha. Yeah. Fuzz. That was my fuzz pedal. Sorry.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Sing with me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that besieged. A day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Can feel the Spirit working His way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and higher up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Clyde Goings. I'm the assistant minister here, and I am glad to be here. I had fun while I was away, but I was glad to be here today. So I wanted to get the story straight of what happened last weekend, since Rod keeps on bringing it up. And so first of all, I was all excited about telling everybody to wear pajamas, because of the sample, and we would have a great time just being relaxed and with the sample after service. And Reverend Karen wouldn't know everybody was going to be in pajamas, right? So I was all excited, and then I realized that I was going to be out of town. And I truly forgot. No, I really wanted to be here for this because number one, Kay, I love Kay's Sample Healing, and so I really wanted to be here, and I was even more excited because I'm going to be comfortable for a change. So, anyways, so thank everybody except for Rod, because I did watch the service because I wanted to see who was wearing their pajamas. And I want you guys to know the reason why Rod didn't wear his pajamas is because he says he always walks around in his birthday suit. So I said that was okay. Anyways, all right. So welcome to the service. And the first announcement tonight or today is want to remind everybody we have the drumming circle starting back up today. It's always going to be the first Sunday of the month now. We've moved it to the first Sunday of the month. It's going to be at 11:30 with Reverend Sue Zen in the back of the room. So please join us, get some snacks, come in and join us for the sound bowl. The burning drumming circle. The drumming circle. All right. And then the next announcement is Kay wanted me to remind everybody that so she has her second annual ceremony for remembrance, right? And that's going to be the first Sunday in December the 7th, and that's where we remember all of our loved ones, including our pets that have passed from the year before, and as we move into the holidays and just help us allow us to move through that in a graceful way. But she's asking for everyone that that wants to have their pictures uploaded in the video that she's going to make to email the picture to her to the office wvcsl@yahoo.com. So she'd like for you to email those by Thursday, November the 20th. So we have some time, but if you could find your pictures and email those to her and give her information, the name, the date of birth, just information about that person or that pet, so she can add that to the video that she's going to be creating. It's going to be a very beautiful experience. All right, and so now we are done with Halloween, and we move into November, and everybody knows what November is. That is our pledge program. That is our month that we are doing our pledge program. So today is the day that we are starting Seeding the Future pledge program, and our theme this year is Seeding the Future. So, and I love the theme. This has been our theme for our pledge program overall, because we are planting the seeds in the field of infinite potentiality. So we're co-creating our individuals' lives, we're co-creating the lives of our community, and we're also co-creating humanity's lives, right? So collectively, so we're doing it ourselves, we're doing it as a community, and then we're doing it as humanity as a whole. And each one of us is adding to that collective consciousness. So we changed our pledge program name to Seeding the Future a few years ago, because that's what we're doing every year in this time period, right? So we're planting the seeds for next year. So think about it. What do you want more of? Or what do you want less of? Or what if you want something new? It's as simple as planting a seed, setting that intention, staying rooted in principles and using your spiritual practices and watching that seed grow. So our theme all year long has been rooted in spiritual principles and spiritual practices. And so we're going to carry this into our pledge program for this year as well. So we are rooted in the law of intention and desire. So we just had a class finish on the 7 spiritual laws of success with Deepak Chopra. And this is what Deepak says. The way to fulfillment is inherent in every intention and desire. When we introduce an intention to the fertile ground of pure potentiality, we put infinite organizing power to work for us. So collectively, our collective intention is shaping our community's future. And we claim our good, and we know that God always says yes. So our Seeding the Future pledge program is about seeding our future, our spiritual home future. So your commitment allows West Valley Center to continue to grow and evolve through all of these changing times. So we ask for your pledge amount once a year to help us plan for 2026. Because of your contributions and your support, we have a beautiful Sunday service, we have an online presence, and we continue to provide classes and special events like the drumming that we're going to have after service, and to root ourselves in principle and spiritual practices. We also are deepening our connection with Spirit, and we are changing lives. So let's talk about the program itself. So first of all, this is a 4-week program, so it's the whole month of November that we're going to be focusing on our pledge program. And each week we're going to be placing our intention into the field of pure potentiality. So you received a card, and if you haven't received one, let me know. But we passed out these cards. If you didn't receive one at the door, then if you could raise your hand, and we'll get one to you now. But this is a gift that we're giving to you. And so if you're looking at the card, the top part of the card, it says, intention for me. You know, for all you people that folded it up and put it in your purse. Unfold it. So so the top part of the card says, intention for me. The middle section, it says pray with the minister, and then the bottom part says intention for West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. So what we want you to do is we want you to write an intention for yourself for 2026 on the top part of this card, okay? And then we want you to cut it off, tear it off. We've got scissors if you need scissors. To cut it off would be better, it'd be nice. And then, so we want you to put the top card along with the bottom part, which is intentions for West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We want you to write an intention for our community. Right? And so when you feel, you don't have to fill it out today. We've got, this month to do it in, but either today or tomorrow. And then when you fill it out, when you come back or you fill it out, then you can drop it in the gold box on Home's base, right? We want you to drop your intention, your personal intention, and the intention for the community in that box, right? So the ministers, we have a minister meeting twice a month, and Reverend Sue and Reverend Karen and I, we're going to pray, because we pray every time we get together. We're going to pray over the intentions for the community, and then for your individual intentions, we'll take one of them out or a couple of them out, and then each one of us will pray personally for your intention that you've set for yourself. So that's what we want to do for our intentions for 2026. Now the middle section, pray with the minister. So that's an invitation for you to pray with one of us, with Reverend Susan. With Reverend Sue or Reverend Karen or myself after service one day after service. Okay, so that's an invitation for you to come and pray with us, and we will, so we'll be available after service. Just bring up your little coupon. If you forget it, that's okay. We know you're good for it, but we want to. That is our gift. That is our gift to you. Okay, so now you can fold it up and put it in your purse. All right. So everybody that's online. We can send these cards to you if you'd like us to send a card to you, or you can simply just email into the office, wvcsl@yahoo.com, and then you can email in your intentions, both your personal intention as well as your intention for the community. And then as far as the prayer piece, if you want to pray with one of the ministers, then my ask would just reach out to Kay Fontana, the office manager, and then ask her to figure out some time. Then we'll get a time coordinated to meet with you, and we can pray with you over the phone, right? So we want to definitely be able to offer this to the people that are viewing us online. All right, so that is the card. We have extra cards, so if you forget them, we're going to bring in those cards. We'll have extra cards for later. Okay, so that is the card. I went over that. The next thing is that you're going to be receiving a letter and a pledge card from Reverend Karen in the mail this week. Okay, and so we're asking you to fill out your pledge card, bring it in. You can drop it in the gold box at Home's base. You can drop it in our offering boxes in the back of the room. You can give it to me. You can give it to Reverend Karen. So we'll accept it anyway. Or you can mail it in as well if you're online. Yep, thank you. So if you're online, you can mail it in for sure, because we do have people that are mailing in their pledge cards. So we also want to let everybody know that if you forget your pledge card, if you look in the back of all the chairs, there are pledge cards in every chair. So we have pledge cards. You can take one out right now and fill it out right now if you feel like it. And we'll take it today. So there is all the pledge cards. And so we're going to be collecting these pledge cards throughout the month and throughout the rest of the year. This is what our program is for, is we're going to collect those pledge cards. And every time we get a pledge card, then we have this giving tree here, and we're going to put leaves on the trees, right? So this is going to allow everybody to see how well we're doing with our pledge program. So we're going to watch this tree become full of leaves over the next couple of months when we turn in our pledge cards. So
I think we need a bigger tree already.
Yes,
I can see that filling up.
Yeah. Yes, thanks, Rod. All right, so that is our program. So what is our goal? So our goal is to collect 35 pledge cards with a pledge total amount of $75,000 or more. So please join me in setting our intention for the abundance of our spiritual home. So I want to close with a quote from Ravi Shankar, who is an Indian guru and a spiritual leader, and this is what he says about intentions. Whatever you put your attention, whatever you put attention on will start manifesting in your life. Intention, attention, and manifestation, that is how the universe works. And so it is. All right, so thank you. So now let's move into the service. So let's say our vision statement together. So we are a loving, joy-filled community honoring the many paths to God as we learn and live the science of mind principles. And so it is. All right, so now just sit back, relax, open up your hearts and minds for the Bradford's beautiful music and Reverend Karen's wonderful message. Thank you.
So just take a deep breath and relax as we move within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord,
Wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
And in this quiet place, let us turn our attention inward to focus on that indwelling presence. I stand here in gratitude, knowing beyond a doubt that there is one power operating through the universe, throughout the universe, everything seen and unseen, known and unknown. It's all God. And so when I speak of God, I speak of the power that holds the planets in place, the energy that moves the tides, and the intelligence that not only creates all of life, but nurtures it. And so as I know this to be true, I know that whether you call it God, Spirit, Buddha, the universe, it's that oneness that created us. And so as we move forward in our lives, we are a point of consciousness, this divine consciousness in form. We are here to live freely, fully, joyfully, and abundantly, so that God itself can experience life through us as us. We are limited only by our ability to accept this and to live this truth. And so as I lift my voice in prayer, I know that we are here to be that divine point of consciousness, to live fully and to lift the planet with our vibration as we evolve into our own Christ consciousness. I'm so grateful for this knowing. And I say a word of blessing today for Reverend Karen, knowing that her message, as always, inspires us and deepens our connection with Spirit. For the Bradfords' beautiful music that always engulfs us and uplifts us. For ministers and practitioners everywhere who hold the candle of light. And for all our volunteer angels that are here today preparing the sanctuary. I give thanks, and I say thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen. Our reading today is from a minister, Eric Butterworth, who was a minister of Unity, Spiritual Economics. And I've kind of stitched together some of my favorite passages. It's from the chapter, A Grateful Heart. There is an old saying that a donkey may carry a heavy load of precious sandalwood on its back and never know its preciousness, only knowing its weight. One may go through life feeling only the weight of circumstance, never able to appreciate the nature of life. So I invite you right now to take a moment to engage in the experience of gratitude with me. Close your eyes, if that's comfortable, and just feel what gratitude feels like. Resist turning outward, casting about for things that give thanks for. Remember, it's not an emotional reaction to the blessings you can count. It is the energy of gratitude you stir up within you that is causal. Charles Fillmore says, God is the source of a mighty stream of substance, and we are tributaries of that stream, channels of that expression. Blessing the substance simply increases the flow. Gratitude is not a reactionary emotion, but rather a causative energy. It is a celebration of truth, which becomes a casual assurance of a continuity of blessings. And Ernest Holmes says, in everything give thanks. That's what I wanted to say today. Thank you.
Here's an oldie but a goodie.
I do believe I will receive. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind. Just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, it will be mine.
morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Karen Rice. I'm happy that you're here. Wrote something special today that I can't wait to deliver, and that is an oldie but goodie. Didn't you used to do that before, Rod? That would be BR, before Rod, when you used to come with recorded stuff, and then we would all sing it with you. And that's an old Karen Drucker, and one of the first Karen Druckers we probably did on a regular basis here. It's really good to feel invigorated, and that's what I want to talk about this morning. We're embarking on this great journey. Reverend Clyde has done a good job setting us off in the right direction. We're planting our seeds of possibility for this upcoming year, and we're getting ready to do all the year-end things we have to do. The commitment cards help us make the budget, and it helps us, the board of trustees, make responsible decisions. And it's a busy time of year, but gosh, it's fulfilling. And I feel like October was this gorgeous, ripe turnaround time for us. That we've had a year with some interesting things that have unfolded, and that we are now starting a brand new season. Along with everything else that's going on in the world, we get to look at infinite possibilities right here in our spiritual home, this gorgeous sanctuary of the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living, and we now are blessed with technology, so people are watching us from all kinds. We have multiple states of regular viewers, even some people that used to sit in the pews right here that listen on a regular basis and even take classes and fill out commitment cards. It's so lovely to know that there are lots of ways we can support our spiritual home. So the title of my talk is Entranced. And I love that title because we can be entranced in multiple ways. I actually took the title of the talk from the book, the Prosperity book I'm working with this year. I'm always looking for new titles because, you know, we really know Edwin Gaines and Catherine Ponder, and I never get tired of Eric Butterworth. I will say, Eric Butterworth always has a fresh voice for me. For some reason, it's like reading him for the first time whenever I pick up any of his stuff. But I found this book called The Trance of Scarcity by a woman named Victoria Castle, and I've never seen or heard of the book. It's not a new book, but it certainly has some refreshing new ways of saying some standard old things. And she writes in this whole book how it's as if we are under this trance of scarcity. We move through our lives and we carry around these, we don't even realize how we limit what's possible. And so then we come and we sit in sanctuary together, and we have a music that reminds us, you know, what is it that you desire, and think about those desires. And then we have the commitment campaign that allows us to plant richer seeds, and we bring it all together. And so I love that idea that we're going to get over the trance of scarcity, because the opposite of being entranced by fear-based things is that we can choose to be entranced by this God-led life, this greater reality of truth in the way that the universe and spirit and the great thinkers that have published these wise books, or the deep thinkers, the philosophers that thought of such things. We're going to talk about a little bit of all of that for the entire month, because that whole idea of being entranced is a way we are sort of captivated with something to think about. And so when I looked for the definition of entranced, it said to be filled with wonder or delight. And I was thinking how the spiritual path does that for me, that I feel so turned on by spiritual realities, the truths of of the abundant nature of life itself, and the givingness of God, the way that the grace of God is constantly streaming and pouring, and that we don't earn grace, that it is freely given, and that our job is really to make ourselves containers to find ways to say yes to life and to not limit our good by the old hypnotic ways of a system that is trying really hard to make some big changes right now. So what I know is something in the universe is trying to emerge in a new way. And I want to be on this, I want to be a player. I want to be on the side of welcoming the good that the universe has to offer. So whether we are entranced by the walking in a sort of a trance of scarcity without even realizing it by limiting what's possible in our life, that has to do with the topic of enoughness. A lot of spiritual leaders use that word, that we suffer from enoughness, that we don't think we're good enough, we don't think we're smart enough, we don't think we have enough. We don't have enough joy. We just have all these ways we limit our relationships and our and pretty much just the way we walk through life. And so realize, as I'm beginning this conversation, we're talking about the hidden ideas of lack and limitation. And we do not live in a world where the lavishness of life is hidden from us. We can see, if we pay attention and we look out, we can recognize that there's this massive way that God demonstrates this givingness in nature all the time. And so it's our opportunity to be filled with the delight and the wonder and the curiosity, and to examine those things that we have been believing. See in the ways that we can stretch our ideas. Reverend Clyde got us off to a great start, because this week we're looking at that idea of intention and starting at the beginning and learning to claim our good, practicing, using spiritual practices to learn to be more open and ready to receive the good that desires to be our good. I love how Emma Curtis Hopkins always said, there's a good for me and I ought to have it. And as much as I want my good wants me. And when I hear statements like that, it takes that trance of scarcity and it knocks it all wonky. You can't have that thought while you begin to contemplate the goodness and the generosity of life itself. So in week 1, Reverend Clyde turned me on. I don't know if you meant to do this, Reverend Clyde, or not, but there's a chapter in, it was in some of the notes you sent me, I think, that I found it. There's a chapter in Living the Science of Mind, which happens to be their Wednesday night study group. I know many of you partake of that sumptuous feast. And the chapter is about the invisible forces in the universe. Last week, we talked about the Halloween side, the ghosts and the goblins, but I want to point out that Halloween is over. And when Dr. Holmes would speak about those invisible forces in the universe, he was speaking to those powers for good. So I think of Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi, or any of the many characters who in that series of movies would say, "May the Force be with you." Right? It's that force. It's that force. It's that universal idea. It's not really that far off from saying Gesundheit when somebody sneezes, right? You're sending out a little blessing. So may that force be with you. May we be aware that we are choosing what will entrance us, whether it is godly or it's a little bit dark. We can wake up and we can be conscious and we can move our atmosphere of thinking in a direction that is helpful to us. Because indeed, as has been said between the song and the reading and Reverend Clyde's message, what you give your attention to is the very thing that you are going to grow and expand in your life. So we want to make sure that we're conscious about the things that we're thinking about and that we use spiritual skills, these tools, the spiritual practice to turn around any negativity that might be limiting us or holding us back. So yes, this is a month where we focus on being good stewards for our spiritual community, but it's much bigger than that. We are talking about being a good steward in the way that you live your own life, because a steward is defined as one being a faithful manager of their resources, the things that have been entrusted to you. So think about it. The gift of life has been given you. You have been entrusted with this body and this breath and these experiences. So how are you faithful to managing that, the idea of the resources that are you, that are about sustaining your own well-being? How are we good stewards in the way that we have a relationship with the planet? How are we good stewards in our community? Last week I was so, Jill came up here as a part of the community tithe we do quarterly, and she talked about something she's passionate about in a way that she gives her time and service to, what's it called, Jill? Sun City 4 Paws, and it's mostly for cats, I believe. Is that correct? And I was so touched to be sitting here listening to her talk about something that she is passionate about. And certainly we've had smaller conversations with her. But gosh, it makes my heart happy to see this is a good example of being a steward in a gift that God gave you. So you could say that Jill knows that she loves this relationship with her pets, with her cats. And she has, dedicated her time to that. And she dedicates time to this spiritual community as well. She also sits on our board of trustees. So there are ways that we support the planet. There are ways we support the greater community, and there are ways that we can support our spiritual community. And all of that is the focus of what we talk about this month. But I want you to remember that it's important that we have a plan for a stewardship program. Every wise spiritual leader knows that that's a necessity to do that. We have to have a budget for next year. But we're not talking about just the financial side of good stewardship. It is a crucial piece of it because we can't survive without, we have to pay our bills. But we are also talking about our health and our physical well-being, and we're talking about our sense of community as a part of our well-being, and how much joy and happiness that we derive from having a community of people that we can have coffee with or lunch with after service, and all of those things expand out into the world. Just beyond our tiny little lives and our little families. It's a much bigger thing. So we have this God-given good, and I believe it is worth noting to give you a little take on some of the things that Ernest Holmes talked about. Whenever he would be speaking about abundance or prosperity, he would always speak to the way that somebody said it in I can't remember if it was the reading or Clyde, but that we are Spirit desires to have that experience through us. So we are like conduits that God can use. So there's this equivalent thing that happens I think it's something you said, Mary, I can hear you saying it. So something in that relationship of the way we practice the law of circulation in all ways, in just how kind are you to strangers in the market, and can you be kind when you're in a bad mood, and how do you treat your loved ones that you live with when you're in it, all of those things are a part of this give and take. We're giving and receiving, and we are practicing the law of circulation. It just happens to be that money is the best illustration you could have in understanding your own perspective of whether or not you're living with limited beliefs. Absolutely shows up because we individually each put our own energy into our actual money. So it serves as a very good teaching or learning arena. But let's remember, it impacts our health and our finances and your joy and your friendships and your even your ability to be generous in the law of circulation. Do you ever notice some people are better at giving than they are at receiving? And then every now and then you bump into somebody that doesn't seem like they have a very generous spirit, and you kind of call them on it. So we're aware of that equilibrium of in value of having to do both, having to have that experience of both. But what I think we're really talking about here today is letting God express through you. And the more you're able to get out of the way and let that happen, or the greater opportunity you take advantage of for allowing God to express through you, the greater you're going to understand how the principle works. So listen to this quote from Dr. Holmes. The great lesson is that life delivers itself into our capacity to receive it. The outpouring from the cosmic horn of plenty can only fill the cup that is lifted up toward it. That line reminds me of our end song, right? Raise your cup if you're happy to share your love today, or we'll all laugh when we sing it in a minute. So he says, you gotta, it's that horn of plenty is gonna only fill whatever size the cup is that you hold up. But then he goes on and he says this, and this is such a great visual that reminds me to check myself all the time. A pail that turns over on its side cannot be filled with rain from heaven. So if you got a rain barrel and you're going to catch the water, I bet you guys have rain barrels and you catch water and use it. Don't you just think that Farmer Kathy would have rain barrels in her back? If she doesn't, she's going to make him go buy one right away. But if the rain barrel isn't standing up to catch the rain, if something happens and it got tipped over, then it can't do anything. And so I love that image, that I want to make sure that I, as a container for my good, am open and ready and willing to receive the good that Spirit desires to bless me with. When we are aligned in that way, when we are conscious and aware in that way, then the outpouring of good can be quite impressive. So we want to be entranced or open to that flow of good, but here's what we know. Here's the bottom line, and this is kind of the point of why Victoria Castle wrote a book called The Trance of Scarcity. It is a lot more common for us to be entranced by the things that do not uplift us. We can be almost hypnotically paralyzed by the things that weigh heavy on us, the things we carry around and worry about, or that sense of heaviness we feel in the world because there is a collective consciousness. We talked about that last week. So here's my theme quote that I pulled from that book for today's message. So Victoria Castle said, "The trance of scarcity is an element of our existence. It is actually a way of being that is most often invisible to us. We don't recognize that we're walking around in a trance of scarcity with limited beliefs. And that's because it is belief. It can't be seen. It's something you have at some point decided aligns to the way you think, or somebody taught it to you. You learned it by the way you were raised. Some people think of hoarding or think of miserly people that don't like to spend. Think of the wealthy people that have a ton of money but they don't spend. Or think of the opposite, the people that can't hang on to money or that overextend their credit cards or their credit. So there's a way we can't see the beliefs because they're hidden beliefs. And by the way, that is what every spiritual path is here, for us to uncover those ideas that we haven't realized we sort of hang on to. And then Victoria Castle finishes the statement by saying, still, the trance of scarcity fairly floats in the air that we breathe, and we catch it just like we might catch a virus. I laughed when I read that because last week, many of you were here in your pajamas. I did notice. But I laugh because one of the key quotes I used last week, not knowing where I was going this week yet, because I planned far ahead and I can't look at next week till I'm done with this week. But I used a quote from Holmes where he said the very same thing. It's uncanny. It is possible for us to catch fear from others as much as we might catch a cold. Our real enemies are our fears and our phobias, our anxieties and our inner conflicts. So I didn't plan to repeat that message, but that message intended on you hearing it in the context of both of those authors. There is this invisible force in the universe that supports us in the most positive, wonderful way. It is a power for good, and you know what I'm going to say. And you can use it. May the force be with you. Hallelujah. You're learning. You're getting it. You can say it for me. What you give your attention to is what expands. So let's expand some goodness. Let's be really clear about that. I wanted to tell you about a time in my life where I was going through an extended, very messy depression, and I don't talk about it very often because I'm more proud of my successes than I don't like to talk. It's not important that you know how I suffered, but, I'm just human just like you. I've suffered too. But there was this extended time where I was in bed and very depressed and medicated and in and out of doctor's care. And while I was going through this horrible experience that was very lengthy, I made a friend of a new neighbor. So this woman moved in across the street. She's a little bit younger than me. Brilliant. She was so fun to hang around with. And she moved from Philadelphia, and she was a Philly girl and proud of it. And she moved in with her brother-in-law after her brother-in-law divorced her sister. And so she came to live with her brother-in-law to help take care of their 5-year-old son, who was her nephew. And she was going to make damn sure, good and sure, that nephew had good care. And so she moved in, and she didn't really love, I was living in California at the time, she didn't love it. But man, we fell in love. Her name was Marilyn, and I only had her in my life for about a year, and she would be someone I would be so close to now if she hadn't moved back to Philly. And I happen to have a 5-year-old the same age as her little nephew, and they became best friends. And so Marilyn and I were hanging out all the time, except for I wasn't happy every day. There were days where I couldn't get out of bed. And this one particular day, she would go to the video store and rent videos for us, and she was very clever what movies she would pick out. And some days we would watch movies all day long. It was really kind of funny. But it was so good for my soul. And one day she came and I was in bed and I had the bedroom all darkened and I wasn't dressed. I probably hadn't bathed in days and probably had not changed the sheets in a long time. And she came right into the bedroom door. She knocked on my bedroom door and she went, "I'm coming in." And I went, "No, you go away. Don't bother me. Leave me alone. I'm having a beautiful dark time. Don't change me." And she forced her way. She just came right on in and she sat on the edge of the bed and she just loved me and accepted me the way that I was. And you know, something always happened in her presence. My mood would lighten. So what I know is there are people in the world who know how to uplift other people no matter what, and they don't take it too serious. You know, she wasn't a practitioner or a counselor. She just wanted a friend. And I was her friend, and she was willing to suffer just a little bit with me, but she would not let me carry on. She would not let me talk about how dark and hopeless my life seemed. And that was really healthy. And because I had that experience, I really seemed to understand that you can catch somebody's positivity. You can catch their negativity. But you could also catch their positivity. And she seemed to be immune. She wasn't afraid. She would just show up and be her and do her thing. And so what I know is there are people that are sort of just born that upbeat, you know, and then there are those people who hate those people that are perky in the morning. And you know what I mean? We all have different personalities. But I do believe that there is goodness on the planet, and when we need it the most, if we can create the tiniest place of willingness to be open to a little light and a little love, God will come rushing in. Be entranced in goodness whenever possible, anytime it's even remotely possible. When you are entranced, whatever it is that you are entranced with, you will lose your focus on everything the opposite of that. So people under the trance of scarcity can only see things that prove they are right, that the world really does suck, that people really are evil, etc., fill in the blanks, whatever it is. And we have all been there. It's hard not to have judgments every now and then. The beautiful thing about Dr. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of this particular teaching, our tiny little thread of new thought, of which is a much bigger entity, the cool thing I love so much about Holmes is how down to earth he was, and how readily he was able to articulate how much he loved life, and how he valued the lessons he learned from nature. And he saw God in all sorts of unexpected ways, and that was really so cool. So I'm reading the chapter that Reverend Clyde must have told me I should read. I don't know. It was very exciting. Something about your invisible force. And Holmes says this. Dr. Holmes says, so let us take a simple lesson from nature. And he starts to talk about imagining in your mind, picture, if you will, a big tree and it's fully blooming. Just get a picture of that in your mind. And whenever I try and do that imagery kind of work and I picture a blooming tree, I think of those 15 minutes I lived in the Ozarks in Arkansas. We were there in the 70s for a spell. And I had never seen dogwoods in bloom in the springtime. And I had never seen a redbud. Oh, my God, they were so such beautiful trees and vivid colors, especially after a very gray winter that seemed really long to this California girl. But when I was writing the message, I was thinking, you know what? My citrus trees, are you guys having the same experience? My trees are so loaded with fruit that they're heavy. And the fruit is a good size already, and they're still green, but oh my gosh, there's this abundance that you begin to understand when you can see a tree in full bloom, whether it's flowers or acorns or fruit. And then Holmes said this, once you see that tree in your mind, he says, look at that tree in full bloom, and you will remember the roots that you can't see. If you look at the tree, you will remember that the roots that you can't see are drawing life into that tree. The roots, that which is invisible, is drawing life and sustaining that life. The roots are entirely invisible to the eye, but you know they are there, he says. You know they are there because you understand how life works. Right? You don't have to be a farmer to know these things. You might enjoy a date with a chicken. Some of us will be visiting you soon because that was a great silent auction. But Holmes then moves to this very profound statement, and he says this: our roots. Whew. Our roots are in the mind of God. Our individuality, everything that we are and that we do, is an effect of our invisible forces. We are rooted in divine substance. Hallelujah. We would not be able to sustain life in this body if there weren't some source, if we didn't have roots that were fed, that draw that life force to sustain us so that we can function in the ways that we need to function. Invisible forces are continually drawing from the infinite life. And it's things that we can never see. I love that you read from Butterworth, because I had a Butterworth experience this weekend. I was researching a little Quimby. I had an idea for the talk. I went in a different direction. It doesn't matter what I thought. And so I set out to do a little research on Quimby, and I found this fabulous website from Unity. And Eric Butterworth, there was a recorded series of classes that he taught. And there was a second teacher whose name I don't recall. But they were talking about the work of Quimby. Now, I just recently, I don't always plan to talk about Quimby, but for some reason I do. And so whenever I talk about Quimby, I remind you, he was early 1800s, and he was a clockmaker. He wasn't a doctor, but he became one of the greatest mental healers that we have known. And from Quimby, we had Mary Baker Eddy and Emma Curtis Hopkins took the work of Quimby and made it more methodology. So Quimby is the guy, you know this story because I just told it. Quimby's the guy that had consumption. In the early 1800s, he was a sickly young man. And he was feeling so poorly one day. Do you remember this story? He was feeling so, nobody? Nobody? Oh, good answer. Because if you don't know, I'll tell it. I'll tell it in more detail. Okay, so Quimby was feeling very badly, and one of his doctors or somebody that had influence on him had said to him, "You need fresh air. What you need is fresh air." Consumption was always related to those respiratory diseases that were quite common in those days. You need to go get on a horse, take a ride out in the pasture. You need to have an experience with nature. But he was too weak to even get on a horse, so remember he rented a carriage, a horse and a carriage, and then something went wrong. The horse spooked, took off with Quimby in the carriage, like hanging on for life, but it was exhilarating. Quimby had himself an adventure. And remember, he'd been sickly. He couldn't even climb up on a horse. He needed help getting in the carriage. But now he's had this major experience. And what happened for me in the research was that I heard the story with more detail than I've ever heard it before, so it's very exciting for me because it's one of my favorite stories. And so in Quimby's words, the horse spooked and ran wild. Quimby said, "The adventure stirred a frenzy of excitement within me." The adventure. Now, I wouldn't find that a good experience personally. I'm a little scared of horses. They're big. He said that the adventure stirred a frenzy of excitement in me, and I felt rejuvenated. Now, he's a deep thinker. He loves Scripture. He's praying, he's meditating, he's thinking about all these things, and he doesn't get sick again. He's well. And he begins to believe. At first, he believed he got well because the doctors had given him a bad diagnosis. But the more he stayed in that contemplative place, meditative, that prayerful place, and listening to God, he began to think of it differently. See, all of the healers in those early days studied the classical philosophers, and they were especially interested in Hippocrates. Still, physicians stand aligned to some of that work. And Hippocrates advised students. Hippocrates said, when the student has they're training medical physicians, I think, which would be much different than the way we train doctors now. But when the student has accumulated the facts, then he has to be still and he has to listen to God, and that's where the truth is revealed. And that's where the healing happens. And so Quimby is thinking about all these things, and he comes to a new revelation. He realized that he did not need to know what was wrong with him, that the diagnosis was not important, but that the excitement he experienced when the horse went wild allowed him to let go of his attachment to the illness. The excitement, being entranced with other possibilities than just being ill and weak and accepting a diagnosis, the excitement of all of that had a transformational experience for his physical being, and it was a sense of aliveness that broke the trance of his idea of illness. And it opened his mind to consider other possibilities. What if instead I'm just well? What if instead I feed myself things that help me feel more alive? Now, see, this does not just apply to a sick body or to illness. We are talking about my friend Marilyn walking in the bedroom and insisting on spending time with me, and then something happens that changes my countenance till I feel better. We're talking about the way you can worry about financial problems, and you worry and you worry and you count your money and you're not sure you're going to have enough. You don't know what you're going to pay and what you can't pay. And you get fixated on the limitation, and you can no longer see that infinite possibilities remain. I rejoice in remembering this information. I'm delighted to have to speak to you this month about what it means to be able to break the trance, to wake up to the ideas and beliefs that have been limiting me. Because as I do it for me, then I do it for all of us. We all have that way in to wake up and to break the trance. So I leave you this morning simply with this. These are the things to ponder today and this week. What excites you? What are the things that most uplift you and make you feel alive? What are you doing when you lose track of time because you're enjoying yourself so much? We want to begin to notice those ways we feel fully alive, and who are the people that lift our spirits, and when do you feel most rejuvenated? Because that's what the world needs right now. Not another opportunity to take a side that you didn't even want to take, and then you find yourself in a conversation somewhere where you're feeling like you're the opposing energy. You know, we weren't created to be like that. We have been created to know love and to circulate that love, which means not just love everybody, but let yourself be loved as well. So break the trance, and remember, you are eternally rooted in a fabulous force. May the force be with you. So take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And just shake your body out a little bit. Whew, that was a lot of adventure. And I know that wherever you are seated as you are listening to these words of prayer, I am so certain that something wonderful is happening. For I know that right where you are, God is. I feel and sense the presence of Spirit right here. That essence of love and truth that is guiding these very words. And I feel the activity of love within me, and it is uplifting and invigorating. That presence of light and of love, that joy that sparks within us and then ripples out in every direction. This is the activity of life. This is the truth about the way Spirit works in us. So we are the vessels, we are the conduits. God desires to fill us with all of this goodness so that it might express in the way that we live our lives. And so as we begin to imagine that we are like that tree that is blossoming, heavy with fruit, full of potential, that in the deep in the earth are the roots that we do not see, the roots that draw life, and in that very same way we are rooted in Spirit. We are rooted in this vital, vibrant truth that life is for us, that the grace of God is streaming our beings, and that in this way there's something that is healing itself as that greater truth of perfection is expressing in the way that we live our lives. So I align myself to that beautiful truth that really there is nothing to be healed There is only truth to be revealed. There is a way we can be entranced with the activity of God in our very living, so that we know we live and move and have our being in that one mind, the mind of God, that all-powerful Spirit for good, and that there are laws in place that we can use to fine-tune that energetic shift in our own living. So I feel this gratitude for this campaign that we embark on today, for the way I know that the gifts are streaming into this spiritual community so that we can sustain that which is ours, so that we can be responsible stewards for the good that is yet to come. And I'm grateful to know that even as I speak these words, that there is something in our individual being that is realigning in that vibrational, energetic way, that we are perfecting the flow of circulation in our beings, so that our health is more vibrant and vital than ever before. And that in this same way, we are realigning our relationships, so that if there is a call for forgiveness or for a certain new perspective that we have somehow missed, that those things are revealed to us today, so that we can show up and be all that we can be, that we can remember the things that really matter, that we can be the living expression of Spirit on earth. So I say thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, infinite Spirit, for all of these gifts, for this way we remember. We accept, we receive, we give thanks, and together we release it by saying, and so it is. Amen. Amen.
Oh, thank you, Bradford. So now's the time to celebrate the abundance of our lives and the abundance of our community. So we have our tithe box and our offering boxes in the back of the room, and we appreciate all of your gifts and donations and tithes that support our community. So let's say our giving affirmation together. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Please rise for our last song. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Sing it with me. Oh, it feels so good to be alive.
Oh, yes, it does feel good to be alive. I love this community. All right, so I want to remind everybody, go grab you a snack and then come right back in here and start drumming. So we are starting that today. Oh, yeah, so we are collecting money for Gourmet for God out there, and the goddess back in the back of the room will be collecting the money. So thank you. So let's say our closing affirmation together. So repeat after me. I release the trance of limitation. And I am open to receive all my good. And so it is.